Thank you for tuning in to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports. I am your co-host, Sarah, here with Tate today. We have a great show planned for you today. We will be covering Game 4 between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves, moving from there into more news in the world of conference realignment, then the future of NIL collectives versus school-managed payments. Moving away from sports in segment 4, we'll be talking about two amazing pet stories and their impact on the world of academia. And then make sure you stick around for segment 5 because today is Wednesday, which means we're doing Dumb Criminals. So stick around for that. As we get started, I would like to remind you to like and subscribe to the show. That really does help. Also, we do get a lot of questions and comments that come in during the show. If you would like your question or comment read on air, one way to do that is to go to GSMCPodcast.net. You can leave a tip or donation. When you do that, that puts your question at the top of our list to ensure that we see it and then we can engage with that during the show. Again, that is GSMCPodcast.net. Good morning, Tate.
Hello, Miss Sarah. Okay, so you were talking about today is Dumb Criminals.
Yes.
So just getting it together. There is, okay, so Monday is celebrity news.
Yes.
Tuesday is dating horror stories.
Yes.
Wednesday is Dumb Criminals.
So far, so good.
Thursday is Thursday. That's all the crazy drunk stories.
Right.
And Florida Man Fridays. Is that correct?
That seems accurate, yes.
Okay.
Thirsty Thursday is not just about me drinking lots of water.
Yeah, gotta be hydrated.
Hydration is important. We both have our drinks with us to stay hydrated through the show, so we're good there. How's your day going so far? It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day.
Hump Day. It's okay. We had our morning walk, which is
production meeting walk,
which is kind of nice. We knocked out 10 kilometers, which is a little over 6 miles.
You like saying 10 kilometers, but 6 miles.
It's a nice 6 miles is a nice round number. So we do our production meeting, which is we talk about everything that's going on. Plus knock out a long walk, always a big plus. So 10 kilometers or 6 miles. And a lot of the issues, the adjusting to being on the show is starting to smooth out. I'm liking it.
Smooth out a little bit, yeah. And today is a gorgeous day. Holy cow, it's nice out there.
Yes. So this morning it was right about 70, 72 or 70 something.
Yeah, I actually didn't look at the weather before we went on our walk, but it was really nice.
I'm liking it. All right.
I am as well. All right. So segment 1 last night was Game 4 between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. You said that they may have a Game 4, that the Minnesota Timberwolves could manage this Game 4, and you were correct in this case. So the Minnesota Timberwolves managed to stave off elimination by defeating the Dallas Mavericks 105-100 in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. Karl-Anthony Towns, who had struggled in the previous games, found his rhythm and scored 25 points, 25 of which came in the second half. His efforts, combined with a stellar performance from Anthony Edwards, who nearly achieved a triple-double with 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists, were crucial in securing the win. Despite Luka Doncic's impressive triple-double, 28 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists, the Mavericks faltered in the final minutes. Doncic and Kyrie Irving struggled with their shooting, combined for just 13 of 9 from the field. The Timberwolves' resilience, especially in the fourth quarter, was evidenced as they outscored the Mavericks 16-10 in the final 6 minutes. The game was marked by significant contributions from Towns, who hit critical three-pointers in the final minutes, and Edwards, who scored a vital jumper with 39 seconds remaining. Coach Chris Finch, despite dealing with a knee injury, inspired his team from the sidelines, earning a technical foul in the process, but also igniting a fire within his players. Minnesota's defense held Dallas to 42% shooting from the field and just 35% from three-point range. The Timberwolves shot a series-best 53% from the field, showcasing a balanced attack and crucial plays down the stretch. With this win, Minnesota avoided a sweep and will head back to Minneapolis for Game 5, hoping to extend the series further. And can I just say is that as we go into this segment, whenever they mention the coach's injury in the,
You know what?
in the story,
I thought the same thing. I was like,
it
oh, that's
stands
right.
out.
He did get.
Despite a knee injury, I mean, everyone's playing injured right now.
Wow. So yes, I mean, I kind of forgot about that as well. I mean that, you know, it's rare that a coach can't be walking these streets without getting a little heat as well.
Still got a technical foul though. Didn't hold him back.
So that's hilarious that you brought that up. Okay. So this game felt the way I thought the series was going to go. This felt like the series I was expecting. Minnesota, I felt like finally showed up. This was the Minnesota that played Denver in my eyes. Man, it was just a totally different feel. It felt like they just, like there was a certain level of determination here. Now, and the big leader in that was Karl-Anthony Towns. 25 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. But the key was he seemed like a different man out there. More aggressive, more determined, 9 from 14 from the field. But the real key was from 3. He's been kind of seemed like a liability from 3. And tonight, nailing critical three-pointer after three-pointer. 4 from 5 from 3, critical down the stretch. Big reason why they won. Anthony Edwards was on fire. 29, 10, and 9. Anthony Edwards was not going to be denied tonight. Almost a triple-double. They went into Dallas. Now, this was in Dallas. They went into Dallas determined that they were not going to get swept. You could tell this is one of those situations where you can kind of tell, like, no, not tonight. We are not going down tonight. And you could kind of feel it. And the big one, for me, the big difference was Rudy Gobert. 13 points, but 10 big rebounds. But my big thing was Rudy Gobert, the defensive player of the year. It didn't feel that way. Not in this series. He seemed anything but the defensive player of the year. He felt like a defensive liability that Dallas kept exploiting time after time after time, which was the key was we're going to pull him out to three-point land. And once he's out to three-point land, he can't hang with Kyrie and Luka when they're out that far. Up under the basket, he's a force. But what they did, they kept forcing him out deep and deeper, which then put Rudy Gobert at a disadvantage. Tonight, that wasn't the case. That's why the 10 rebounds were so important when you look at this game. And talk about the keys of the game. Karl-Anthony Towns redemption. I love that word redemption. As I talked about, scoring 20 of his 25 points in the second half, meaning they're there to close this game out, not get swept, and he was determined not to do it. Horrible. He's been horrible in this series from the field and for 3. Really, from 3 has been a big, kind of like a detriment. He's been struggling. Now, this game, he got his I don't know what happened, but his focus was there. He was nailing those shots, which became incredibly, important. And then down the stretch in the second half, that's where I thought Karl-Anthony Towns did his best work, which in the previous games, Minnesota kind of faded down the stretch. Dallas kind of took over not this game. Like, as I mentioned before, a huge 26 of his points in the second half, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, huge plays after huge plays, including the big dunk. He was determined. Also, talking about shooting a shot and then Drew Holiday coming in and securing the rebound and securing the win. That was all critical. Anthony Edwards, a man on a mission. That's kind of the way I looked at it. He was kind of the heart and soul of Minnesota last night, coming through in critical moments, time after time after time, showing resilience, being confident. You could tell from the beginning he came there to set a pace, set example for his team, and I felt like his leadership, even in a critical situation where it's a game 4 and you're about to get swept, his leadership kind of came through and kept Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert in this game, at critical points, just keeping these guys focused. So his leadership was a critical part. And then as a whole, as Karl-Anthony Towns was kind of the leader and kind of really getting things going, the team as a whole kind of rose up a little bit and actually performed incredibly well. Like I said, staying off 3-0, it was not going to be a swept. They were determined not to get swept. Winning a critical game in Dallas, that was huge. Holding their defense. Minnesota has always been strong this year on defense, and it hasn't really been that way the first 3 games. Now, kind of holding Dallas from the field to 42%, and then closing things out in the final minutes, and then Edwards and Towns working together to close out the victory. That was the big issue. That was the big overall take.
So what next? How do you see this series playing out? They have not.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, this series is over. It was nice. It was nice to see them put together a game and show what got them to the Western Conference Finals. But going down even at 3-1, I think it's over. I don't see them winning the next game. If not, I don't see them any way possible taking this to a 7-game series. I could be wrong, but I don't see that happening. So, but it's going to be interesting. This is where I'm very curious about Minnesota here, because this is going to show me how resilient this team is. Are they going to be able to muster up another game? I want to see how well Karl-Anthony Towns does his shooting slump come back, or is this a catalyst where he's back performing at that high elite level? Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert. This was a defensive player of the year sighting happened last night. Does it keep on? That's what I want to see. For Dallas, Luka put up a crazy great game. The big problem was Kyrie wasn't as great as he has been. These guys last game, they were both Batman, both coming in at 33 points. This game, it was kind of like Batman, kind of Robin. Maybe Batgirl. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but, wasn't quite the dynamic duo, let's just say. This game, Kyrie was a little bit off, but still, Kyrie is a critical part of this game, and I don't see this lasting. I see Luka and Kyrie closing this game out coming up.
So good to see, but maybe a little too late.
Yes, and this is that one thing where
Too little.
I hate to be dismissive, but a lot of times you have that fight right before you teams that have that mentality. They're determined. This team was determined they weren't going to get swept. Whether we're in Dallas, whether in Minnesota, it did not matter. They weren't. Minnesota was not going to go down tonight. A lot of times, though, when you go into, you get that critical game 4 win, and then you have that kind of relief. We didn't get swept. That's when that gentleman's sweep come in, and that's kind of what I'm expecting here.
Well, we'll see. Maybe there will be a surprise. Maybe not.
I mean, it would be great, because if not, if this extra game is huge, because we weren't going to have basketball until June 6th. Now we get an extra few days of basketball. So listen, I'm hoping this game goes to 6 or 7. That's what I would love to see. I just don't think it's going to happen that way.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our first break for this episode. When we come back, we'll be talking about what's next for the Utah Utes in terms of conferences. Stay tuned. You are watching Let me start that.
I was going to say, what's the name of the show again?
I don't know. You're tuned in to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports, and we will be right back.
You're sitting right next to him.
Who are you?